Okay. Oh, so we called it a sign bit, so it's just an extra. Okay. Is that right? So 2. All right, so there's 1 or 0, 2s, 4s, 6s, 8s, 32s, 64s. Oh, this is 64, but then plus all the rest. Yeah, so plus 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Right, yeah, 7, 8, 15. Plus 16 is 31. Plus 32 is 63. Plus 64 is 127 positive. But then the unsigned to be the other direction. That makes sense. Okay. So 7 magnitude bits get us there. To 127. And then we have a sign bit to go back. Because the positive includes 0, but the negative does not, so we can go all the way down to 128. If it's 128, these are the signed or the unsigned guys. Well, the negative part of the signed guys, we could say the signed bit has these negative ones, but then we have 0 and 120, 0 to 127 on the other side. Okay. That makes sense now. All right. So we would need one more bit to get past 127, because that's how positive we can count with an 8-bit int, with a 1-byte int. If the result is not defined... Oh, God. Man, my freaking, low back is itching. If the result is not mathematically defined or in the range of representable values, i.e. it's outside how much the value is outside the range for the type, behavior is an undefined overflow. Oh, so it'll fuck up. Behavior is undefined. Colloquially, this is called overflow. So, yep, we're going outside. 17 too high, yo. If an arithmetic operation attempts to create a value outside the range that can be represented, okay, so, for example, using a regular, well, using an 8-bit, even though ints are supposed to be 32, usually, in the event we only have an 8-bit, a 1-byte one, and we said 127 plus 1, well, the value can be represented, but it's outside the range, so it's integer overflow. What happens? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. It did crazy things. +1, in this case, meant that it went all the way to the opposite side. Like if it had... Yeah, it just gave it the unsigned version with the maximum. So it gave the value on the other side of memory, basically, of the range. Okay. Let me get some cool music. Yeah. Okay. Integer overflow. Okay, please. How do I... do that? And it works. Okay, that does not work. Now we're locked. Fucking locked in. Can you lower the volume? Alright, so we'll try this. Need to get input output functionality. We'll just do 2 million. Excuse me. 2 million. 2 billion. 2 billion. Oh wait, that's not what we're looking for. $2 million. $2 billion. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Oh, there it is. So we get 2 billion. 2 billion's the highest we get. So we get... yeah. But then once we go any further, well, we could probably do... yeah, so we get 2,123,000,000. But if we do 2,100,000,000. Oh, how about 4? Oh, truncation of constant value. Oh. Oh. So the difference is we get that extra 100 million. There's an error, truncating constant value. And it sounds like truncating is converting a type to a type, which apparently you can't do in the code, at least not for a variable. But we could take the variable evaluate it, and then maybe pass it to another variable of a different type in order to actually, and then output that to get another type out of it, and then store it, and then disregard the first variable. Destroy it. Okay. So that's where that happens. The truncation is that converting. Okay. Integer overflow, arithmetic overflow. Oh, so in one instance it did this, and the other instance it did that. Holy shit. Oh, and it's, oh wait, yeah, warning is error, okay. Cover what happens with unsigned integer overflows later. In general, overflow results in information being lost, which is never desirable. Any suspicion, use a bigger range. Woo! When dividing two integers, C++ works what you'd like if the quotient is a whole number. Okay. Yeah. But when we say 2 divided by the 3 and we get the 6.8 something, 6.9 perhaps. Well, what happened? We actually get 6. Right? We'll just do so 3 divided by 4. Is it just gonna be 0? I don't even know. Yeah. Yeah, because it just goes. It just cuts off the extra shit. So in this case, we don't even have a single. It's not even a single number. It's 0.75. So there's no integers above 0, so it's got to be 0. If we do instead 2 divided by 1, well, 2 divided by 1 obviously, but 2 divided by 1.2 is 1 point something. So we just get what? Oh, because it's doing floating shit. So if we instead we'll do x divided by y, and then we'll do x, and we'll do 2, and then we'll do y, and list initialize them as 1.3. Oh, oops, sorry. Int. It might give me an error here. A warning is error because I'm. Oh, yeah, narrowing conversion. Yeah, because I'm narrowing, I'm losing it. So, what is he doing to do that? Oh, he's literally just doing that. Okay. Alright, well, what happens? So, if we do 2 divided by 3, same shit. Should be 0. I would guess. But if we do 20 divided by 3. Yeah, it's a 6. Wait, so why did it do it earlier? I guess because it was perfect? I don't know why. Why did that work? 2 divided by 1.3? Oh, the point is because it's realizing that this is an int, this is a double, so it's doing it. But if we instead do 2 divided by 3, this is an int, this is an int. So I haven't told it what these are. It's just automatically, temporarily having them as something. It's storing them in here somehow. It's giving it a type, but it's giving it a type upon running the code. So it's 2 ints. When 2 ints fuck up, that's what happens. Like 7 divided by 5, it's gonna be probably 1. It's a narrowing conversion. So 7 divided by 5 is 1 point something, but then we lose the end. It converges to the nearest int, which will be 1. Because there's no integer between 1 and 2. When it's a whole number. But we do 8 over 5. It's 1. And so the narrowing conversion's really is when we were doing an int and we were initializing him with 1.3. The narrowing conversion is when we convert from a type to a type. Here, this isn't actually a narrowing conversion because we're not converting a type. We're doing the division. It's just that we're only returning an integer value. So the answer might be whatever, 1.6, but we're returning an integer. An integer is the evaluated, this is the result of this expression. So integer division produces an integer result. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yep, because -5 divided or -8 divided by 5 is -1.6. Then we drop the 0.6. Careful, because you lose fractional parts of the quotient. If it's what you want, that's good. Yep, I have done that before. It was like a calculator or something that I made. I don't remember. Too cold. The range of a 5-bit signed integer. Damn, they're making me do formulas, man. Oh, these are both 2 and -2. The 5-bit integer signed, so it has the plus and negative. So there are 5 bits, so it's 2 to the 5th. Sounds like 32. Is it really? Or 8, 12, 4, 16, 32. So it's actually, it's 31 to -32. Wait, hold it. 5-bit signed. Part of it is the signed. So there's 0 and 1. So there's the 0 bit. 2, 4. Oh, duh, because it was the same as earlier. Okay, never mind. So it's going to be less. Alright, let me wake the math brain up. It's been years since it's been awakened. Okay. It feels like 15 to -16 to 15. Because it's 0 and 1. And then 2. Well, so 0 or 1. And then 2, 3. And then this guy's a 4. So there's 4, 7, 6, 5, 7. 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. 3, 7. These are the 4s. These are the 8s. So we have 8 plus 7. We have up to 15 here. But then we have this sign to get the rest. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that included 0. That's 0 all the way to 15. Hey, I know how to count binary on my fingers now. I've never done it before. And then we have... Is it really? I guess so. -1, or well... Is that right? Because there's 0 and 1. Then the other counting is interesting. Because we go up higher. So instead we have, so there's 0 and 1 already accounted for. But then there's -1 and -2. So there's like -1, -2, -3, -4, negative 5. Oh, wait, hold on. So negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9? Yeah, negative 9, negative 10, or what, negative 9, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16. Maybe not. Maybe it's still 0. 0 or negatives. Something like that. It feels like negative 16 to 15. So they're split evenly. Yeah, and we already know that the negative is the extra value, so negative 15 to 16. Another way to think about it is 1 is required for the sign, that leaves 4 for the magnitude. Yep. 16 values on the negative side. Negative 1 to negative 16. 0 to 15. Again, because of this. Okay. Unsigned. And the point is probably because, excuse me, probably never going to need something that is actually 64 that's 2 to the 64. Or 2 to the 63, sorry. Minus 1. Because it's positive. Compared to minus 2 to the 63. And that's it. Or minus 1 if we're talking about ones, whatever, ones some shit, some term. Twos something versus ones something. Excuse me. So it sounds like an unsigned int's maximum is assigned's maximum plus 1 and then times 2. So 2 times the maximum plus 1. Non-negative whole number, so 0 to the maximum positive. Yep. It's the positive side. It's just basically an extra bit dedicated to the positive side, the signed side, or the unsigned side. So signed are basically called negative including. Yeah, by convention, but then you don't say, oh, these are the names, never mind. Oh, I see. Damn, that's big. That'll do it. Yeah, I mean, we saw 2.1 and then 2.2 million, or billion, sorry. That's when we ran out, because we have 4 byte integers by default. Yes, instead of this getting minus 1, it's just this. Which is the same as what I said earlier. So, it had the minus 1. It's just that it adds 1 to the max. So this is actually, instead of losing 1, it's none. And then it's 2 times it. So instead of minus 1 here, basically just adding 1, boom. Yeah, because by default, you have 0, 1, so you lose 1. So if we went up to 127, we get +1 because the negative side has 1 more. So in this case, oh, maybe not. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Alright. When no negative numbers are required, unsigned are suited well for working with little memory because you get more without extra memory. Yep, makes sense. Remembering signed and unsigned. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Unsigned positives, yeah. Unsigned overflow. Has to still be undefined, right? But maybe we call it different? Oh. So C++ is unique to others, where integer overflow is the same regardless of whether it's signed or not. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it does. Alright, so if we had like 1,200,000 and then I was trying to fit, let's say the maximum is 1,000,000, and I tried and fit in 1,000,002, well, 1,000,002 divided by 1,000,000 is 1, but then there's 2 in the remainder, so it's 2. However many it's left. Okay, yeah. So you're saying this guy's the range, and then we're gonna print this guy who's one more, and it's gonna go from whatever the max is to then 0, because it's the minimum for an unsigned, and then we go to 1, and then 2, and then 3. Yeah. If we keep adding by 1. So, whereas overflow for unsigned, or overflow for signed integers is undefined, overflow for unsigned is not undefined, it wraps around. Yep. You need to disable it because it sounds like it's trying to convert the type. That way it can fit the value because it's trying to avoid the wraparound. Oh, so you do 0 and then -1 to get the maximum? Yeah, it makes sense that it would warn you there. You probably don't want that. Oh, okay, because it just... Wow. Yeah, the time actually runs out. The integer that is updated every certain amount of time gets updated, and eventually it has too much, so it sets it back down to 0. And you run out. Wow. Because it thinks you hit 0. That's crazy. No, because that's a lapse time. Well, yeah, I guess you do have limited time, so that's the point. Wow. Well, yeah, you accidentally subtract a little bit. Boom, you've overflowed. Yeah. 2 and 3. Overflow. Insane. It just fucks up your math for a lot. I mean, I can do a lot with math up until 127 and -128. Wow. It's because it's unsigned, so it goes up to million. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're gonna subtract. You'll have a loop and it'll never fucking go away. You say unsigned int in a loop, and then subtract them or add. Excuse me. You add until he finally equals this number. But if that number just happens to be set to the maximum or above the maximum, excuse me, then it'll never hit it because it'll add and be like, excuse me. Let's say the threshold is 127, and I say for an integer, for this integer, this unsigned int, well, so it'd be 255. For this unsigned int, while it's less than, well, as it's less than, or with it, with this unsigned int, less than 250, yeah, less than 256, do this, and then increase it. Eventually it would increase to 256, but 256 is outside the range of a 1-bit unsigned int. So it'll then go 255, 0, and then it'll keep on looping. So even though it's technically not undefined behavior, as for what the evaluated value is, when you overflow an unsigned int, it does result in undefined behavior. Well, it's not undefined, unknown behavior. Shit that you might not expect. I guess unexpected makes the most sense to say that, yeah. I said unknown because you could get to know it, but it is definitely unexpected too. Totally right. Oh, wow. 2 minus, yeah, we're saying 2 minus 3. Well, if you subtract from an unsigned, well, an unsigned can't go any lower, so it has to wrap around to the max. 4.2, yeah. 1.294 billion. Wow. If it's signed, it's okay, because you can subtract unsigns from signs. Oh, extra.